GoForThe2.com. We're entering week number 8 of the college football season. We have a great matchup in the Big Ten between Iowa and Ohio State this weekend. I'm going to give you my prediction up on the website Thursday morning. I'm going to get into some news and notes about this game in a couple of seconds. I just want to remind everybody, this coming Friday, blogtalkradio.com, my co-host, former Georgia Bulldog wide receiver Corey Allen. We're going to discuss the marquee matchups in the SEC this weekend. We're also going to get into the Bulldogs' loss against Missouri last Saturday. We're also going to discuss the Bulldogs' upcoming matchup with Vanderbilt this Saturday at 12 o'clock. So check that out on blogtalkradio.com. The NCAA Weekly Blitz Show this Friday, 6:30 p.m., so check that out. Let's get right into the preview between Iowa and Ohio State. Ohio State has an 18-game consecutive winning streak. They won 2 weeks ago on the road in Evanston, 40-30. Both teams have 2 weeks to prepare for this matchup. Iowa's hanging around. They're having a solid season under Kirk Ferentz. They're flying under the radar at 4-2. They have a very balanced offensive attack in the Hawkeyes. They're averaging 209 yards per game passing, 207 yards per game rushing. So a very balanced attack. They're averaging 29.7 points per game on the year. When you look at the quarterback situation for the Hawkeyes, sophomore Jake Ruddock, he's played within the system, completed 60.3% of his passes, 8 touchdowns, 6 INTs in the year, but he's played within the system. Iowa has a very good running back in Mark Weissman, averaging 5 yards per carry. They're going to put a lot of pressure on the Ohio State defensive line, so we'll see how this game matches up. Defensively for the Hawkeyes, very solid against the run. They're only giving up 16.8 points per game, only giving up 88 rushing yards per game. They're very opportunistic. They're a +2 in turnover margin, but that secondary is very physical and very good in bump and run coverage. So you're going to have to see how Iowa's secondary challenges the wide receivers of Ohio State this weekend. When you look at Ohio State, what can you say? They're averaging 46.8 points per game. Very high-octane offense led by Braxton Miller. He struggled a couple of weeks ago on the road, inconsistent against Northwestern. He does now have a bye week to hone his skills, gets back into the mix after having a layoff from his injury. So we'll see how Braxton Miller comes out of the bye week in this ball game. Ohio State, though, relied 2 weeks ago on Carlos Hyde. He had 168 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. He led the Buckeyes to the victory on the road in Evanston against Northwestern. They're going to need a solid effort out of him heading up into this matchup. When you look at Ohio State as a whole, they're averaging 280 rushing yards per game, over 215 rushing yards per game. So very balanced in the passing game, averaging over 280 yards per game, rushing over 200 yards a game. So a very balanced attack by Urban Meyer and the offensive staff for the Buckeyes. When you look at the running back situation, Jordan Hall and Carlos Hyde, 2 very dependable backs. Jordan Hall has 8 touchdowns on the season. Carlos Hyde 2 weeks ago had 3 touchdowns, all 3 of his touchdowns of the year coming against Northwestern, so that's a positive sign for the Buckeyes. Another positive sign is on the defensive side of the ball. Ohio State very stingy against the run, only giving up 86 rushing yards per game, and they're a +4 in turnover margin. So Ohio State, they create turnovers, and that's going to be a key matchup against Iowa this Saturday. These teams play classically close games over the years. They've been known to have some battles. We'll see how it plays out in the horseshoe this Saturday. I'm going to have my prediction for this ball game up on my website, GoForThe2.com, Thursday morning, so check that out. It's going to be a great weekend of college football. Some of these games are shaping up to be marquee matchups, so you have to check it out this weekend. It's going to be a great weekend of college football, so stay with us all season long.